I'm John. We're restoring Corrick, a Contessa 32. This episode is about the update to the electrics and the chain plates while I've been away doing a tiny bit of sailing in the Solent, and I'll give you a little bit of an update on that too. I hope you enjoy this episode. Unlike my last couple of most recent trips where it's been huge winds and huge tides, this has been medium-sized tides and reasonably variable winds and a surprisingly large amount of sunshine, even if we were fog-bound for a little while. The ideal conditions for doing the training is a little bit of wind and not too much, and this has been an absolutely ideal week. I'll give you a few bits of footage of that. And I managed to get down to the boat just for half an hour while we popped in to the handle, and I was able to get an update from Bill, who's doing the electrics, and also from Nick, who is fitting the bits and pieces that we got from Jeremy Rogers the other week. So they're going in. As always, nothing's ever quite as easy as it promises to be when you first look at it, but he seems to have overcome that really well. Well, I'm back down the boat, and last week that hole had been cut and we exposed the old electrics, and this week Bill has been down the boat putting the new electrics in, and that line there is the Seatock backbone, which then needs to go up to the mast. These much heavier cables here are for the calorifier and the 240 volts for when we're on shore supply, and then this collection of lines here is lighting and whatnot, bilge pumps, etc. for later on. And what Bill has done, and this is a bit of a change, is that it all goes aft from there. It then comes underneath here. It'll obviously all be tacked up when we finish. It comes across the boat into the port locker, which is on the other side of that bulkhead. It then comes down and then it runs through the boat under there where the water was and into a cable here which comes up in the bilge pump locker, and then it goes forward to the mast. So it goes forward through that locker there into that forward locker and comes up just there. Thanks, Bill. And that's those cables there all marked up, and there are a few more cables. So the 240 volts comes out inside there, and we'll probably put it somewhere back here. And there's obviously lighting cables going in there for a strip light above the chart table. Sorry, strip light above the galley. Strip light above the chart table, give it nice and light here. And nearly all the wires are being replaced, apart from one or two that are really difficult to get to, and Bill has given those continuity and oscillating tests, so we're going to take a risk that they're going to be fine, but the downside is quite a bit of destructive work in order to get them out and replaced. Another piece of work that's happened is we did have the engine seacock in there, and the strainer was on top of it, which interfered with the way those cupboards work. So what we've done is we've modified the fitting there. It loops round, and that's where the strainer is, which is hugely accessible. And as you can see through the clear cable it going into the impeller there, but it means I can also look down and see it. It just makes it a lot easier to maintain. Last week we saw that we had got the new chain plates from Jeremy Rogers, and these are looking very lovely and so forth, but they are a very slightly different spec and indeed size from the old ones. So that's the old one that has come out, and as you can see is just very slightly narrower. So what Nick has had to do is clean it up with a little bit of fiberglass in there, and then put it in and then re-drill the hole, and that will then go in with a backing plate on it. One of the differences in the design, and let me put this against a decent bit of background, is that they are cranked inwards, whereas previously they were straight. That just gives a better lead. So the forward and the after one are cranked inwards. The middle one is straight up and down. So along with the chain plates, we've got these backing plates. These are pretty heavy duty, and they get offered up onto the underside of the deck as the chain plate itself comes through the deck. And for the cap shroud, there is this metal bar that goes through the web. As you can see here, the nuts on the underside of that will give it a bit of strength. When I visited the boat, even though I was only there for a very short period of time, it was a flurry of activity. Wayne was working on the engine, Bill was doing the electrics, Nick was working on the chain plates. It was probably a good thing that I wasn't there, but I'm looking forward to getting back down there early next week and getting a more full update.